the coffee hasn't spilled yet.
Yep. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time zone you're in right now. Welcome back to Sip&Talk. Today is just full of energy. Welcome back, Sip&Talkers.
It really is a high-energy morning. And, before we jump into the heavy stuff today, did you happen to see that massive trending topic on Taiwanese social media over the weekend?
Oh, you mean the whole typhoon thing?
Yeah, exactly. So there were literally 3 typhoons that just headed straight from mainland China, like one right after the other. And all these netizens online are joking, asking if this is some kind of, I don't know, geopolitical hint from God.
Right, I saw that. I mean, it's funny, but meteorologically speaking, it's really just subtropical highs and monsoon troughs steering the wind, It's not exactly divine intervention.
Oh, come on, let them have their fun. I mean, it's a good meme.
No, I get it. From a mass psychology angle, people are clearly projecting this deep desire for, natural justice. But honestly, instead of waiting for acts of God, we really need to look at the cold, hard rules of the real world. Washington isn't waiting on the weather, right?
Yeah, that is very true, which is exactly why we're digging into the biggest question we keep getting asked by you guys. If the CCP were to actually launch a military invasion of Taiwan, they know internally that it would be completely illegal.
Right, straight up illegal.
But physical occupation is one thing. How on earth do they solve the nearly impossible legitimacy dilemma when it comes to international law?
Well, there is a Taiwanese proverb that I think frames our entire discussion today perfectly. It goes, a forcefully picked melon is not sweet.
Wait, what, melon? Like a cantaloupe?
No, it's just a proverb. A forcefully picked melon.
Oh, okay.
It basically means that forcing a result on someone never ends well. Stealing something by military force doesn't automatically grant you international legal recognition. And it definitely doesn't force 23 million people who are completely used to freedom and democracy to just, voluntarily submit.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You can't just force it.
Exactly. So today we are going to unpack international law, the geopolitical chessboard, and the true cost of governance to see just how expensive this forced melon really is.
Let's start with that legal paradox, because it's massive. When you look at the harsh reality of international law, specifically the UN Charter, Article 2, Paragraph 4, the rule is unambiguous. You cannot use force against the territorial integrity of another state.
Right. The post-World War II rules completely changed the game. Before 1945, empires just conquered places and kept them. But now, territory gained by force is simply not legally recognized.
To put it in an American perspective, imagine if Mexico suddenly invaded Texas.
Okay, wow. That's a visual.
Right. They just roll in, capture Austin, raise their flag, and announce to the world, hey, we are just bringing our lost child home. Would the rest of the world, or Washington for that matter, just nod and accept that?
Obviously not. I mean, the UN Security Council would be losing their minds. It's illegal aggression.
Exactly. And to push that even further, think about a guy breaking into your house.
Okay.
He kicks down your front door, forces you out onto the street, changes the deadbolts, and just sits down on your couch.
He's eating my snacks.
Yeah, eating your snacks, watching your TV. When the cops show up, the intruder says, look, I have the keys. I'm controlling the living room, so this is my house now.
You tell him he's crazy.
Right. Having the keys is not ownership. It is literal evidence of a break-in. It's proof of a crime.
Oh, that's a really great way to look at it. Control does not equal sovereignty.
Exactly. So if Beijing wins militarily, sure, they win the battlefield. They manage the airports. But they immediately hand the world undeniable proof of a crime, and they lose the legal argument.
Okay, but let me push back on this strict legal view for a second, because we have to be real here.
Sure, go ahead.
If someone occupies a territory long enough, doesn't the world eventually just get tired and move on? I mean, we see this in geopolitics all the time. Nations eventually just want to do business.
And that right there is the massive tug of war in international law. You have 2 competing doctrines fighting each other.
Right.
On one hand, you have the principle of effectiveness. This is that cynical, realist view you're talking about. It basically says if a regime maintains order, keeps the lights on, and collects taxes long enough, the world practically has to deal with them. It's de facto recognition.
Right, because pragmatism takes over. The global economy has to keep churning.
But the firewall against the thing holding the whole international order together is the Stimson Doctrine.
Ah, named after our Secretary of State from the 30s, right?
Exactly, Henry Stimson. This is the doctrine of strict non-recognition. The core idea is that a crime cannot birth a legal right.
And we can actually see how this plays out for us on the global stage today. Think about Crimea in 2014.
Right.
Russia grabbed it by force.
Right.
And they have physical control locally, so the principle of effectiveness is in play there. But the West, including our government in Washington, applied the Stimson Doctrine.
Which means severe consequences.
Exactly. The result is massive, ongoing economic sanctions. No legal recognition. If a European bank does business in Crimea, they get locked out of our financial system.
Yep. Or look at northern Cyprus. Turkey occupied it 50 years ago, but basically nobody else recognizes it.
Or even the Taliban in Afghanistan. They have total physical control, so neighboring countries are forced to engage with them practically, for water rights or border security. But they are completely denied formal, de jure legal recognition.
So if we bring that back to Taiwan, if an invasion happened, the U.S. and our democratic allies would instantly trigger the Stimson Doctrine.
100%.
Beijing might capture the island, but mechanically they would instantly be cut off from the SWIFT banking network.
Which would just paralyze their economy.
Completely. It means a total blockade of semiconductor supply chains. They wouldn't just be diplomatically isolated, their domestic economy would face a catastrophic liquidity crisis.
So they are financially locked out of the global system. That brings up a huge governance nightmare.
Oh, massive.
Because if they are sanctioned by us and our allies, how do they actually govern 23 million angry citizens who are deeply accustomed to voting, protesting, and having unrestricted internet access?
This is where these declassified think tank proposals get really dark. When you read what Chinese strategists actually propose for post-invasion governance, they are not planning for a gentle transition.
Because they know they can't win voluntary loyalty. The melon is not sweet.
Exactly. So they are planning extreme measures. We are talking about an exported, highly industrialized version of the Xinjiang model.
Wow. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Mass detentions, re-education camps, and systemic thought reforms specifically designed to forcefully erase a population's democratic identity.
But legally, that crosses a massive human rights red line. I mean, this isn't just strict governance. Under the Fourth Geneva Convention, specifically Article 49 and the Rome Statute, forcibly re-educating an occupied civilian population is a crime against humanity.
It is. And the bill for committing a crime on that scale comes due immediately. The governance bill becomes impossibly expensive.
Right, because you need endless resources for counterinsurgency, you need millions of security personnel, constant surveillance, and you're paying for all of this while your economy is choking from global sanctions.
The math simply does not work. It is a perpetual bleeding drain on their national budget.
Okay, so looking at the geopolitical chessboard, if the military bill, the economic collapse, the diplomatic isolation, and the governance bill are all insanely high.
Right.
Isn't there a cheaper way to do this?
Yes, there is. And it's basically the hostile corporate takeover model.
Wait, like in business, what do you mean?
Think about it like a tech company in Silicon Valley. If we have a massive tech firm that wants to acquire a fierce rival, do they hire mercenaries to bomb the rival server farms and scatter their top engineers?
No, of course not. You destroy the very thing you want to buy.
Exactly. Instead, you buy out the board of directors.
Right, you offer golden parachutes.
You manipulate the internal politics, you offer massive stock options to key decision makers, and you make the rival company vote to merge voluntarily.
Ah, I see. So for Beijing, actual kinetic war is just what happens when influence fails?
Yes. Why spend trillions on a physical invasion and risk a direct war with us and our allies when you can spend a few billion on political infiltration, media manipulation, and buying off elites?
Because the goal is to make the target choose to surrender. And if they choose it, or if a compromised leadership signs a peace agreement that effectively hands over sovereignty, the UN Charter violation entirely disappears.
Bingo. The Stimson Doctrine never gets triggered. No SWIFT cutoffs, no tech embargoes.
It just becomes classified as an internal domestic matter.
Exactly. The entire legitimacy dilemma is solved by making the victim open the door from the inside.
And the psychology behind this infiltration is shocking. When you look at the recent espionage reports in these internal documents, the most alarming takeaway isn't just high-level moles.
No, it's the absolute devaluation of treason at the grassroots level.
It's wild. We aren't talking about top generals getting millions of dollars in numbered Swiss bank accounts. We are talking about low-ranking personnel selling out their country for literal pennies.
It's mind-boggling. There was an Air Force captain who sold the complete defense plans for the supersonic Chongfeng 3 missile for just over $7,000 US.
$7,000. Are you kidding me? For a supersonic missile plan.
I wish I was. It gets worse. Other soldiers gave up military bank accounts or literally filmed themselves pledging absolute loyalty to the CCP just to pay off a $100 debt to an underground loan shark.
$100. How does someone value their dignity and their nation's security so cheaply?
It all comes down to behavioral science. Intelligence handlers are weaponizing it masterfully. They use a classic psychological mechanism called the foot-in-the-door technique.
Right, because they don't ask for the nuclear launch codes on day one.
Exactly. A handler approaches a target and asks for something entirely harmless. Hey, just give me a quick sketch of the cafeteria layout or a photo of a public duty roster. I'll give you $100 for your trouble.
And the target rationalizes it immediately. They think, well, the lunch menu isn't classified. This is easy money. I'm not hurting anyone.
But the moment that money changes hands, the trap snaps shut. The handler now has leverage. And this is where they exploit a concept called the scarcity mindset.
Right. These operatives specifically hunt for young personnel who are drowning in illegal high-interest debt.
Exactly. Because when a person is terrified of a loan shark, their brain goes into acute tunnel vision. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning and logic, literally shuts down.
The amygdala just takes over completely.
Yes. They physically cannot process the geopolitical consequences of their actions. A 10-year federal prison sentence for treason is this abstract, long-term concept.
But a loan shark breaking your legs tonight is a concrete, immediate threat.
Exactly. All their brain allows them to see is the $100 they desperately need right now.
And then to survive the intense cognitive dissonance of betraying their country, the target engages in moral disengagement. They convince themselves, I'm just a low-level guy. My little secret won't sink the entire military.
Everyone probably cuts corners to survive.
Right. It is a systematic dismantling of their moral compass, driven by targeted debt and sheer panic.
So if the infiltration is this granular, if it preys on such basic psychological and financial vulnerabilities, how does everyday society build a firewall against it?
Well, the data points to the everyday citizen navigating their social media feed. It details the mechanics of what analysts call radio surrender narratives.
Right, because the goal of cognitive warfare isn't to make you love the enemy. That's way too heavy a lift.
Exactly. The goal is simply to convince you that your own resistance is pointless. We have to train ourselves to spot narratives specifically designed to induce apathy.
You see these messages constantly injected into feeds, things like, resistance is futile, or your allies in Washington are too divided and will abandon you.
Or just give up your rights and the economy will boom.
Exactly. The algorithms driving our social platforms are built to prioritize emotional spikes, and foreign state actors pump money into boosting these specific despair narratives.
So if you read an article or watch a video, and your immediate visceral reaction is sheer paralyzing panic or just a deep sense of hopelessness, you need to pause for 10 seconds.
Do not share it.
Right, don't engage with it. Recognize that the emotion you are feeling is exactly the product the algorithm was designed to manufacture. Taking that breath is the first step of an informational detox.
That is such crucial advice. But what about the individuals who are already caught in the trap? The soldier who took that $100 realizes they are spiraling and feels completely trapped by blackmail.
There is a critical counterintuitive mechanism for survival here. Spies view these low-level informants as entirely disposable.
Yeah, they are single-use tools.
The handler will throw the informant under the bus the second they lose their utility. The blackmail only holds power over the target as long as it stays in the dark.
So the only way out is stepping into the light.
Exactly. Taking the initiative to confess to the authorities removes the handler's leverage instantly.
It is undoubtedly the hardest, most terrifying step a person can take, but it stops a $100 mistake from compounding into a lifetime of ruin. Often, our counterintelligence agencies are way more interested in tracing the handler than they are in destroying the low-level target's life.
Right. By stepping into the light, you actually reclaim your agency.
It really leaves you with a profound thought to mull over long after today's show ends. When we think of national defense, we naturally picture fighter jets, our U.S. CHIPS Act, and international treaties at the UN. But in the modern era of cognitive warfare, true courage and true national defense might actually be the mental clarity to see through a $100 bribe.
Wow.
It's the ability to pause before sharing a panic-inducing video, and the wisdom to recognize the true, hidden cost of your freedom before you are manipulated into giving it away.
That is a really powerful point to end on. And for all our Sip and Talkers out there, just a quick reminder that today's episode was an objective, factual exploration of geopolitical strategies and international law.
Absolutely.
There is no criticism or discrimination against any nation or its people here, just a commitment to critical, independent thinking. And also, real quick, any mention of economic impacts today is just for context, definitely not investment advice.
Oh yeah, please do not make trades based on UN Charter theories.
Right. So if you enjoyed our deep dive into these topics, please make sure to subscribe to the Sip and Talk podcast.
And hey, before we sign off, don't forget to check out our good buddy Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickey to Life. He just dropped an awesome new travel vlog, and it is definitely worth a watch.
Yes, definitely go check his video out. See you next time.